Do you know, I think it might have worked. Good morning, everybody. I do hope it has worked. I really don't know what was wrong yesterday. I did find that there was problems until at least early evening, but it looks a bit more promising. So good morning, everyone. Morning, Kaz. Morning, Anne, Sarah, Sheila, Shirley, Linda, Julia, another Shirley. Pat, good morning, and thanks for coming over and continuing to come over to me to have a look to see what I'm up to in the craft room. I sort of went along the idea of Spring Watch in terms of spring flowers and that, but I think we're almost on to early summer, really, aren't we? So, hi Jane, hi Anne, Carolyn, Marjorie, Rio, morning. So, are you having a go at something at home whilst you're watching, or are you just watching avidly of what I'm going to get up to? It's nice to, I know I sit and watch some of the YouTube live things that people do, people that I follow, and I like to sit in my craft room and fiddle about with what I'm doing as well. So it's quite nice and nice and cool where I am. So I'm always moaning about the weather, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do is just revisiting, because Wednesday really should be revisiting what you should be doing. And so I'm revisiting a few older dies, but a different way of doing them. So I am using the Oakham Lattice, is it? Yeah, Oakham Lattice, which is about 2 years ago, I think, from John Next Door, one of my favourite go-tos. And I'm incorporating that with my absolute favourite go-to, which is the square box die, which I just use all the time. It really is a very versatile die, so I really like to look at that. And that's what we're going to have a go at. So those, I'm also incorporating the blossoms. You can see peeking up there, but blossoms like no blossoms before. And I'm just going to make a pretty box card. Okay, so obviously I don't expect you to sit there watching me cut out things. So I have taken the opportunity and already cut out some of the things. So this is the box die. Now I've left it actually in situ because I wanted to show you a couple of things first. First of all, I've cut this from the crystal silver card. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you've got the dies, and so you can really have a go at this, and that's what the whole idea is about. You don't really need to be buying the dies and then thinking, oh, I'll never use that again. Then they're very expensive dies. So have a go with this one. Really simple. So crystal silver flower card, 300 GSM. So I'm not sure if you can see, but it is that shiny pearlized card, both sides. Why I've left it in there to show you is because it cuts out the outer edge, but the rest of it, it scores and then just cuts the tab. So if you were with me on, when was that, Monday, I think, when I was showing you how to do the boxes for the hat box, you remember that we had little tabs, and you have also got little tabs, but they're already cut for you, and a really thin border, and hopefully you can see that you've got quite deep indentations of crease lines, of which is where you're going to fold it all. So having cut that out, I've then taken my lattice die. And as I said, when we look at the lattice die, there are 5 dies altogether in the whole set. And I have taken the very outer one, okay, which also cuts out an aperture all the way around. So here is my tape. So I've just taped it through, and I've just left a little border all the way round of my box card. And I'm just going to take that out so that you can see that that is beautifully cut out. These dies just cut out first time every time. They really are good. I must admit I'm using a Gemini. No, that's a lie. I cut this out on a platinum actually, because I've only got my Gemini Junior in this room, and so I've gone into the other room to cut out this. You do need a die cutting machine with pressure to do this sort of thing. And simply, as another tip, when you're putting it in your machine, just turn it a little bit. So when you put your die in, try if you can to put it in sort of, say that was the machine like that, put it in a slight angle so that instead of it catching straight on, it does cut so much better if you can just turn it, even if it's only fractionally turning it. It really does make a difference. So I just need to make sure that all the little bits are pushed out here. And I think that you'll agree, even now, that's such a pretty design, isn't it? Really, really pretty. I'll just scoop those. So I'm going to make my project in mauve or purple. I'm sorry, Tessa, if you're watching, but yes, that is one of my favourite colours. And I have cut out a piece that is just fractionally inside there. So that happens to be, because I happen to know, 12.5 by 12.5. I might have to cut that down a fraction more, not quite sure. Then I'm going to take my next bit of dye, which is this very pretty bit. So if you can imagine, pop that on the back, and we are going to put that into position. I'm going to pop that into the centre there so that that gives that an all the way round border. I think you can see that, so that we will be, that's what we're aiming for really, is the border piece on here. Okay, so I'm just going to tape that down into position with my low tack tape. Whoops. Like that. The good thing is that we can move it still just a little bit if you need to. So I'm going to pop that through my machine. And I'm going to put it at an angle, it's very slightly, but I know that because I've got a funny machine at the moment, because I think I said to you that I tried to strangle myself and tripped over it, so it's not working all that better. I'm going to have to put that through a couple of times. Now, normally you wouldn't have to, and if I was using it on my other machine, which is not half broken, I would be fine. Just check, yeah, just need to turn that round because it's not cutting out on one side. As I say, it's really not the best thing to do for the machines. So there we go. Your budgie's watching as well. Oh, blimey, Carol. I didn't realise that I was entertainment for the whole family. Okay, so that's the piece that I want to actually achieve here. And this piece, obviously, I can cut out and use for another time. I will just show you how pretty it is, though, because we're not going to be using that. But isn't that pretty with all of the little patterns? It's quite a simple die, but there's so much detail into it with all of the stitching and things. And there's very little of the little bits that have to be actually taken out. So it's really pretty. So then that is going to go back into my aperture. Oh, got to hold it in place there, just try and show you, so that it has got that little border all the way around. So I just need to put some glue onto the back of my piece here. And what I'm actually going to do, so I'm going to grab one of my sticky sheets, and I'm just going to place that onto some of the parts. See if that helps. It might. I'm just thinking that with all that little lattice, it might just get some of the, might not work at all. I'm just thinking it might get that little lattice shapes in there. Might get it everywhere else as well, but who knows? Who knows? Worth a try. Whoops. So I think we need to do it from that way round so that we know that we've got it showing evenly all the way round. And then just press that down from to the side. Okay. So hopefully you can see that that's now got that little border all the way around. So then and only then are the times when I'm going to start burnishing these folds that were in there, because if you burnish them before then and you're still cutting out a couple of times there, it's a waste of time for a start. And the more that you burnish a fold, the less crisp it will be if you have to keep just opening and closing it again. If you're just burnishing it and going for it, that's a different matter. But if you're burnishing it and then opening and closing it again, you really are better, and then squashing it through your machine. Just think of the pressure that's going through there. It's better that you just fold at the very last minute. So now I need to get my bone folder and I need to burnish along all these edges. Okay. So I hope everybody is well. It looks as if you are. I must admit, I haven't heard of... I know Jill is not very well today, so I'm sending get well wishes, not COVID get well wishes, thank goodness. So she's been someone that's been for many, many days in isolation, but she's not very well today, so I doubt very much she's on here, but maybe she'll look later. So sending get well wishes to her and to anyone else that might not be feeling on top of the world today. So just burnishing all these, hoping that we can get back to some sort of normality very, very soon. Who knows? I have to say that purple is one of my go-to colours. It really is. I just love the fact that there are quite a few different shades of the purple card that we can get, and so I really love it. So I'm going to take my trusty glue glaze to put these tabs on first and foremost. So I'm just going to put a dollop of glue onto there and then just hold that. And like I had to do for my box that we did the other day, you do need to make sure that you're getting this at absolute right angles to get that nice and square. Just hold that on for a second. And then I'm going to move on. Of course, as we said before, you could use your red tape and things like that. But I do find that this works for me best. Do that corner. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said you're sorry, Heather. I mean, where have you been? Yeah. Linda, that is my favourite colour. It is for cards anyway. I do love pink, but I do find it so difficult to get a pink that I like. I don't know why. Some pinks look fabulous when they're next to a white, and then some of them, the white makes it look just dingy. I just find it so difficult to get hold of a pink that I really, really like, and I have tried lots. So that is probably one of the reasons why I tend to go for the purple. Okay, so I pop them all into position. Now I'm just going to stick, oh, hold on, I meant to not stick that bit and it's stuck beautifully, isn't it? Sorry, I should have thought about that. I'm going to stick those two bits a bit later, but I'm going to stick these bits down here, making this box. If you do stick that bit and you can't get it undone, it doesn't matter, because you can do it a different way, but it does look neater if you leave those two bits open for what I want to do, because I want to show something in there. So I'm just putting again a little bit of glue onto that corner and onto that corner, and again trying to make sure that I've got a right angle there, because it's quite important. Aqua, yeah, I love aqua. Rosemary, I love a baby pink, but I just can't find the right pink. Your neighbour came to the door and then your son found, oh my goodness, it's like Clapham Junction where you live then, and you couldn't be much further away from Clapham Junction if you tried, could you? So, okay, we are getting there. So there is our box. Now it's going to be going onto an 7x7 card. So I have also cut out, whoops, another 12x12, and I just needed to check that, 12.5, I mean, by 12.5, because that's just going to slot into there. Yeah, and it will, so that's okay. I just want to put my sentiment on here. So I'm just putting that into position. And the sentiments that I've chosen today are from some of the Crafter's Companion sets, because I think they're so lovely, with the lovely verses, really, as well as just the sentiments. But I'm going to go for this one, which is Have a Wonderful Day. And just in case it's mucky, because knowing me, it probably is, I'm going to position that, just put that in over there so that we know where it's got to be. It's got to be roughly there, because I've got some flowers that are going to come from there. So I just need to now make sure that it's straight. And using my clear acetate there. Pick that up, take the acetate away, and I'm using the Versafine Clair Purple Delight for this one. Glad to say that all of the Versafine Clairs are all coming in from a different manufacturer. So it's lovely that we're going to get all of the colours. Okay, so there you are. There's your Have a Wonderful Day. Let's take that out of the way. Put that on there. There we go. Put this back here. Oh, such a palaver. I store these still on their sheet so that I can see what they say, and then they go into a really lovely folder with them all. I like folders and storage. And then you've got this little bit here that tells you what they are once they're in the storage. Clever idea. Okay, so I have got my sentiment, and that is going to go inside my little box here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a little bit of glue onto the back of my card. So the bottom bit there, I'm not going to put it on the top here, so just a little bit onto the bottom 3 corners there. I'm going to slot it into my card, turn it over, and then with my bone folder I can then just press it onto the sides, so we know that that is stuck down onto the sides. You can see that's all in there, stuck down to the sides. And then when you look through it, you haven't got the unsightly edges coming through there. So I think that looks quite nice to do it that way round. Okay, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to do it up just yet, in case I want to have a bit more fiddling with my flowers, because I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to put the flowers poking in, and I might want to get in. So let's do the flowers and then we will decide. So the flowers are cut from the Blossom, John Next Door Blossom. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if just looking at your messages there, Rosemary, I'm not sure if she does a nice coloured card like that, but unfortunately I can't get Chloe's an account with Chloe, which is a shame, but I do understand it. But unfortunately, I find that if I use a card that I can't get hold of, then people aren't happy. So I have to use something that I can get hold of as well. So hence this. So we have got already cut out the 3 largest of the blossoms, and already cut out, but I thought I'd just show you the plate that we're using, the blossom die, but then in the green. So some in purple and some in green. So I'm just going to take out the same size ones as I had. So that's the largest for that one, medium size for that one, and then that one. And then I've still got some left over for another time. Okay. So now, First of all, I need to mould them a bit. So I'm going to take my 3 purple ones first, and I'm going to use my very large ball tool, double-ended one there. And I'm simply going to push down and make a sort of cup of this. So I'm really pushing down hard because the card's quite thick, and just doing a little round circle, just getting it to cup upwards. Okay, so yes, you will have creased card. It won't look pristine like that, but do not worry. And the same with this one. So I'm just pressing down quite hard into my moulding mat here and just cupping it all up the same way. Okay, I'm just going round and round each, whoops, come here, each purple. No, the green there is not Brunswick green. The green is Crafts 2 linen card. But this one is amethyst, that I'm perhaps a foundation card amethyst, which I'm using here. So I've cut them all up, and then unlike what I would normally do, which is turn them over, I'm now going to make them even more circular and just press in with my smaller ball tool in the center so that I've really cupped them together. Okay, so then I'm going to pop them to one side. Then I'm going to take my other ones, and because they are linen, they have got a pattern on one side more so than the other. So I'm going to turn them on their back where the pattern is not so apparent. And I'm just going to gently press these. I'm not pressing these very much, just gently on the edges more so really, rather than cup them. Okay. So just really breaking the fibres of the very edges. And then I'm going to turn them over and just press in very slightly like that. So these ones are very much so pressed in, but those ones aren't. Okay, because we're going to make something quite different from these blossom flowers. So I'm then going to take my pokey tool and I'm going to poke a hole into the centre of each of these flowers. And on these bits as well. There we go. My trusty heat glue gun, and then I'm going to take a couple of stamens. Now these stamens are wired stamens, and they have just got one pearl on the end, so they are quite sort of specialist as such. So I'm just going to take 3, I think, and I'm going to make sure that they are not all like that. I want them so that they are different lengths, and like so. Okay, then I'm going to carefully put them through my purple flower, and I'm going to take them down to about there. So I've got, what's that, 3 centimeters out of my flower. And then I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the very center so that I'm holding that in place. It will take a second or two just to go off. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to put a piece of glue on the other side, just a little dab. And I'm going to take my same size, which in this case was the medium one, I think. Yeah, this one, of my green. But I'm not going to put it on. I'm going to put it on so that it is not cupping it. It's just going to be, oops, like that. So I'm not cupping it, because the idea is that we're making this now into more of, I hope you think and agree, more of a fuchsia-like flower. Yeah. So we're using the same flower cutting die, but we are making a completely different flower from it. I'm just going to leave that there for a second and just make these up as well. So it's 3 of the wired stamens. and not all put equally. So some are a different length than others, because if you were to look at a fuchsia in your garden, if you've got one, they aren't all equal, all the stamens that come out of there. So then we're going to take our smallest fuchsia, or petals, I should say, really, and just pop them through there so that they are about, the tallest one, about 3 centimetres out. Oh, dribbling. Tiny little bit of glue there just to hold that in place. Didn't really want you on there as well. Thank you very much. And then a little bit of glue on the back. Oops. Oh, come on, little bit of glue. Thank you. Blimey. It's getting a bit sad if I'm now talking to flipping bits of glue, isn't it? Oh, God. Been locked down for too long. Pop that onto the back. Push it up to meet the centre. And just stick that into place. And then just the last one. So 3 again. Oh, that's the only trouble with glue. It just gets everywhere. It's so stringy. So again, 3 different lengths. Take your flowered piece and pop your wires through. Take it so that it's about 3 centimetres for the longest piece. Little daub. Oh, blimey. We get the glue where we don't want it to be. And I haven't got that much strength finger, so let me just pull that off of there, because we don't want that on there. Thank you very much. We want it there. That's it. Just hold that into place a second. A little bit on the back. Run my other one up the end and just pull that up so that is meeting it there. Okay, so you have got, I can just, then when it's set a bit more, I can just pull up these mauve or purple ones a little bit more so that they are bits of glue, so that they are all sort of more closed. Because if you look at your fuchsias in your garden, they have got a most definite hanging down bit like that. Have I got the stamens? They are on their way. And what I thought I would do is I will put them on the website, but I will do it in such a way that it's quite obvious that they will be in stock, but not just at the moment. I thought that I had got them in time, but unfortunately not. So I haven't got them all in stock at the moment. So let me just get a pair of scissors. I need to do a little bit of cutting off. So the idea of these are that they are bunched together and they are going to go in this corner here. Okay. Oh, I was going to turn this round to show the camera as if it was in front of me. So that's how they're going to go. So they're going to go on that side there, which is why I said you might want to leave the top of your box open, because you might not be 100% sure how you want to actually attach them. So I do need to cut off some of the stems, and unlike most of the other flowers that I usually use, I do still need to keep quite a length of stem because I'm going to be poking them out from here. I can always trim them down again if I wish. Okay, so in order to put them on, I'm going to fold that back so that I can see properly there. And I'm going to, my gun has turned itself off because it's got a safety thing on, so I'll just turn that back on again for a second. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Come on, up to heat, yeah. And I'm going to put a bit of glue just inside there, so that if I work quickly, I can put my flowers in. Oops, a daisy. And if I look from inside, I can just grab hold of my bone folder and just hold that down onto my bit of glue. I'm not using the end of my bone folder that I usually crease. I'm using the sort of handle end. I'm just going to hold that down onto that glue, and hopefully that should do the trick, that they should all be stuck. Just having a look through, have a feeling that that little one might not be, so I'm just going to dobble another bit of glue into there. That's better. That will be stuck then. Just trim off that extra bit of wiring there. We don't need that. Just make sure that that's got. And then I can just close this up like I virtually did before, with a bit of glue on those ends. And then that bit doesn't want to stay stuck there. Just tuck that in. Oh, like so. Let's take that out of the way. Okay, just hold that for a second or two until it stays stuck. Just pop that to one side. So my 7x7 card, I've already cut out a couple of mats and layers for it, wanting it to be so that there was the same colour of the flowers. So I've taken the mauve one, and as I said, this is a 7x7, so it's not quite 7x7. I think this is about 6.5. So it gives it a nice wide border all the way around. And then one that's 6x6, because it's again I like to have a wide border with this because of the border of the card itself. So that's going to go there, giving me a border all the way around. And then carefully, I need to put glue onto my back. Just put a bit of glue onto there. Just need to tidy that up a little bit. And I need to, sorry, you're going to have my head in the camera, because I need to just make sure that that is as square as I can get it. And just hold that down. I can push on there because I had glue on there. And I can use my bone folder so that I can press down from the top and push down all those glue bits there without getting in the way. And there you are. There is our certainly different type of flower there. So again, was the dies that you probably have already got, but possibly haven't pulled out for a while, made into a flower that maybe you haven't ever thought of before. And so that's your fuchsia, or well, type of fuchsia, maybe not complete fuchsia, but it just looks so pretty, I think, and different. It's nice to play about with the flowers in all different ways. So I hope you've enjoyed watching today. I will put this on YouTube, so you'll be able to see it later. I will be back again tomorrow, so you're going to get me a couple of days in a row now because of yesterday's hiccup. But I will be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock on Friday with the Fancy Fold Friday. And I'm looking forward to showing you that. If you can't make it, it will go up on the YouTube channel later on. Just look up for Maximum Crafts if you're not already subscribed. And I will also be back on Sunday with the Sunday special, and that will be at 11 o'clock. But hopefully I will see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock for the Fancy Fold Friday. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.